How are you, Kliff?
Good.
Get it out of the way with some of these other jobs. Have you had talks with any other teams at this?
Same answer as last week.
There you go.
Yes,
Just
sir.
want to get it out of the way.
We got it out of the way.
So with Jaden, we kind of ask every week, but is there anything more that you still learn about him during these games, watching him in these moments?
Yeah. I mean, every week I think something new comes up that's specific to the game, but the poise, the work ethic throughout the week, the mentality doesn't waver. I mean, he showed up same time this week every morning early and put in the same work he did the week before and the previous 16 weeks. So I think there's specific instances that continue to help him grow and evolve as a player, but he's very consistent in his approach and has been since he got here.
And then De'Ami Brown with the big game last week. There's been a number of times this year where other guys have had that. What have you seen from him this year, and why do you feel like this group kind of rotates who else has that big game?
Yeah, they've all stepped up when the number's been called, and De'Ami is a guy who, when we got here, I had known about him from North Carolina. We obviously looked at him when I was at Arizona, and just the attitude and the approach really has gotten more businesslike and more professional throughout this season, and it's paying off. I mean, he's showing up over and over and over. Always been able to run, always been able to, be really good with the ball in his hands, but his route technique and fundamental things like that are really improving, and it's a credit to him and the way he's approached this season. And so to have a game like that in that type of environment was really cool to see that hard work paying off.
With the run game, coaches will always say, hey, we got to keep running kind of no matter what to a certain degree, and you guys did that the other night, even though some of the numbers yard per carry weren't that great. When you're in the moment and it's not maybe working exactly as you hope, how much discipline do you need to, hey, we got to stay with this for whatever strategic reason you want to?
Yeah, it's helped me having a defensive head coach, I can tell you that much, because he lets it be known we need to run the football at times that I would maybe in my previous life be airing it out. But we're going to do whatever it takes to win, and we have good backs, and we've had a great scheme throughout the year. We've faced some good fronts. I mean, those two guys inside there are as good as anybody we played against all year at Tampa, and the linebackers are tremendous players. So it was a challenge. Todd Bowles is one of the best defensive minds in the league and has been for a long time. So overall it was a challenge, and we just kept plugging away at it, and Jaden made some plays with his feet that helped us out. But I really, having DQ and just him mentoring me in a way, if you will, just about sticking to the run game, how it affects the defense, seeing it from that perspective has been good for me.
And just early thoughts on Detroit's defensive front.
Yeah, they've done a tremendous job. I've been really impressed. I know some of the numbers don't look as good as they may want, but when you consider the injuries and the things that have happened to them, it's pretty amazing what they've done. And I thought their best performance was, the last time they were out against Minnesota, they were dominant. Whoever they put in plays hard, they're disciplined, and they make you earn every inch. And so that's a credit to Aaron and Dan and the culture they have going there.
I know Quinn has talked a lot about these winning time moments, and now that you guys have won 5 games on the very last play from scrimmage, kind of what goes into it from your standpoint, just in preparing the offense for times like last week where clock management is such a big deal?
Dan's done a tremendous job of just, we talk about on offense being situational masters and repping those things, and those type 4-minute drills or 2-minute drills or, centering right, centering left. So we get them a bunch, multiple times each week, and when they show up, the guys they've been through it. There's a calm because they've been through it, and they've just executed at a high level when that number's been called.
So what is your feeling on the sideline when it always comes down to that final drive, that final play? Is there any nerves? Do you like it?
Getting a tighter fade to hide the gray hairs, I can tell you that much. I do not love it. But it's been a fun group. They're resilient as hell. They keep fighting no matter what, and on the sideline, you always feel like you have a chance, and that's been fun to be a part of.
Is there an emotional or a strategic advantage to hitting a deep ball early like you guys did in Tampa Bay?
More so, I think, getting Terry the ball. He's a guy, you see the sideline erupts, like he gets going. I just got to continue to find ways to get him touches early. But that was a tremendous throw and catch, and definitely gave us some confidence. But when he's involved early, we've been a lot better on offense.
What are the challenges and opportunities facing a guy as aggressive as Aaron?
Yeah, I mean, he's going to get you. You got to just stay within yourself. I think sometimes you can become an emotional play caller, if you will, and like, oh, God, we got to make this up. And you just know, hey, with his scheme, there's going to be times that they win and they get you, and you're going to have some negative plays, but you're going to have a chance because they take risks to hit some big ones as well. And I think just staying in your pocket and not trying to force stuff, not getting out of your comfort zone and your rhythm because they've hit you on a few things. But he's done a tremendous job with that group. Like I said, to have the injuries they've had and still play the level they're playing at right now has been really impressive.
Hey, good afternoon, Coach. What can you say about Jaden's development this year and hitting third and fourth window passes?
That was something that I thought jumped dramatically from his junior year to senior year at LSU. And that was the thing that blew me away the most, was his progression in the pocket. I thought junior year it was okay, but he'd get out and use his legs a lot more. And that second year he was progressing through, getting to the third, fourth, finding his check down. And that's something that's just, he uses the virtual reality stuff constantly, and I think that really has helped him just hang in that pocket and nail those reads and go through it like he does. But that's, for a young guy to stand in there and do what he does and get to those reads has been as good as I've ever seen from a young player.
And then there's some people out there who believe that all the close games you guys have had to win last 30 seconds is actually kind of a sign that you're very beatable and maybe even getting lucky in some of those situations. I
like how you phrase that. Some people
right.
out there.
I know you don't.
Not me bringing up the question.
Yeah, I know you don't necessarily concern yourself with other people think about that, but what would be kind of your counter to that argument?
Yeah, I don't have a counter. Just that's the NFL, and if you find a way to win 6 in a row, you're playing at an extremely high level.
We're going to see the two top fourth down offenses in this game. For you, I know that Coach tells you in this situation we're going. Does that, when you use the term free you up, or does that free up the way you call an offense, knowing that you're most likely in certain halves of the field you're going to go 4 downs?
DQ does a great job of letting me know really prior to the drive, hey, from this point on you'll have it 4th and 3 and less, or 4th and 5 and less. So it definitely helps the fact that he's so on top of it prior to the drive, how I call the play sequencing. Third down can really become a second down at times. So that's been a great kind of marriage with us. I'm always saying let's go for it on 4th down, so he's got to just not listen to me half the time, but he does try to give me the heads up, which allows me to call that drive differently.
If you mentioned trying to get Terry the ball, I'm wondering how you've seen the Jaden Daniels, Terry McLaurin kind of rapport from even the spring workouts last year to now, and how has that maybe changed, if at all, the way you call games? Yeah,
they have built through the year, there's no doubt. I think the first couple of games, the ball wasn't coming to him as much as we would have liked, and we've had our ups and downs, but teams are also doing stuff to take him away. I mean, he's had a Pro Bowl year. He was second team All-Pro. I think those two guys are just going to get better and better as they go. I mean, they're two very conscientious players that are team-first guys and work really hard at it.
Coach, when you got here back in February, you talked about how your time at USC helped you develop as a coach. When you're looking at your first season here in Washington, how do you feel like you've evolved as a coach and a play caller?
Yeah, I think every year you take something. This year, just being able to move some of the pieces around and do some different things offensively. I don't think, we knew what we'd have with some of the wideouts or what Zach had left or maybe Eckler. And so just to be able to try to maximize each guy and then get with the new offensive staff. Brian Johnson's phenomenal, Bobby Johnson, Anthony Lynn, Bobby Ingram, Tavita, David Blau, all those guys. You take a little bit of new stuff from them, and they have a huge part of this offense each and every week and what we install and what we game plan with. So that has probably been as big as anything, just the relationships with those guys and learning from them.
Kliff, to follow up on what Chick was asking about 4th down, what is your process for coming up with your menu of 4th down plays that you might call in a game? And secondly, is there a difference in calling a 4th and short play compared to a 3rd and short play, your own 20 or something like that?
Yeah, you try not to let that be a different mindset. You try to call the best play that's going to gain the line to gain, and that's, if you can really separate that, I think it helps you as a play caller. And then I always think players, not plays. I think the other night on the 4th and 5, it was that ball was going to go to Zach Ertz no matter what. It was the most first day one base install play we had, and I knew that he would present and give us a chance. So that's really what it comes down to. You'll have your list, but when you're going for it 5 times, you got to get to some other things, and it's always about players first.
Hey, Kliff, what is 3rd and medium? I don't know the percentages, but I'd imagine most of these teams, the opposing defense thinks about spying Jaden. Do you account for that as a play caller? What goes into your mind when you know they might have a spy? How do you take advantage or view that?
Yeah. If we've seen some stuff on film previously, and you can figure that out, about the first time they run it, they're usually short a guy somewhere because of that. And so Jaden, like we mentioned earlier, he's so good at progressing through stuff that really helps the passing game. And if they're not spying, he does a good job of feeling it out when it's time to take off and go. So to me, if they want to burn one just spying him, then somebody's going to be open on the back end.
Appreciate it, Coach.
Thank y'all.